What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Getting Buzzed. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, my co-host, Ryan Hallam. We took a little week off, Ryan, while we wrenched and worked and moved stuff and fixed and expanded. And, well, lo and behold, the all-new Alarm Sports Network proudly presents Fantasy Alarm, DFS Alarm, and Wager Alarm. How you liking the new digs?
I think it's pretty awesome, and that's just on the front end. I think everything looks great. I love how you can navigate between the three sites so easily. We just can give you all the content that you can need: season-long fantasy, daily fantasy, betting. Like, we have everything covered. As the industry evolves, so do we.
I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud of everything that comes about. Hard at work at wrenching things and making sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. I know change is tough for a lot of people. Change is tough and it's real scary. We got you. So enjoy the new site, explore the new site, and we'll go from there. In the meantime, Ryan, cheers, my brother. Come on. Yeah, that's right. I'm super excited about today's show. We got a lot going on here. Got a great top 10 list. You are the master of the top 10 list. I love our guest tonight. Stay tuned. Samantha Previte from the Action Network. She's going to be dropping by. We're going to be playing a little games. You know, Sam's a big skier. Big skier, right? Every time we see stuff from her, it's all about skiing. So we're going to play a little game tonight called Ski Down That Mountain or Hit the Lodge.
I've been on a few podcasts with Samantha before, and so I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to just correct you real fast. It's Previte.
Previte, thank you so much.
Previte, like Z, yes.
Does she hate Sam? Does she always go by Samantha?
I've always called her Samantha. We can ask her.
We can ask her. Well, I have a sister named Samantha, so I could have some difficulties there. So Samantha Previte from the Action Network, she's going to be joining us later on today. Very excited about that. How's everything been going with you? It's been like 2 weeks here since we've done the show. The last time we were here, you were just starting the ice cream brackets. Are we down to our final four yet?
We're doing this Thursday night, so half the final four is set with cookie dough and vanilla. And Vanilla Bean both made the Elite Eight. I think John Impemba is just making 50 Twitter burner accounts to keep voting for Vanilla. Your Rocky Road is who it took out last. So right now,
Vanilla Bean took out Rocky Road.
I believe that's who took it out. Yeah,
that's bullshit. That's
completely.
Bullshit. That's crap. That's absolute crap. What kind of voting is chocolate?
I think it's gonna be chocolate, cookies and cream, vanilla, and cookie dough is gonna be the final four. So when you're watching this Friday night, vote for the final four. If you happen to watch it Saturday, that'll be championship night. So be sure to follow me on Twitter at Fighting Chance for all the great ice cream brackets. Because
this is like,
and you know what's really funny? Like today people were like really arguing over vanilla. It was hilarious. I was like Scott Frankel and some guy that I know is in fantasy with. They're like, "Oh, vanilla is so vanilla," and the other one was like, "You used the verb definition of vanilla," and I'm like, "We're talking about." It was like a 10-minute, and I guess it's better than arguing about everything else that's going on in the world. Arguing lighthearted about ice cream. So I was like, I did this.
I mean, yeah, I'll appreciate a good ice cream debate, but anytime vanilla and Vanilla Bean are coming out on top of just unbelievable flavors, like. Unbelievable. This is like when you did your horror movie brackets, right?
Yeah.
And Jaws ended up, I don't even know what Jaws lost to, but it was total bullshit. And yeah, wow. I'm disappointed. I'm not voting.
Well, that's what you take your ball and going home. That's very mature of you.
I'm out. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm finished with the Vanilla Bean.
I know, it's like the ice cream that needs something else in it to make it good.
Yeah, like chocolate sauce and bananas and another flavor of ice cream. Throw some peanut butter cups in there.
That's in the Elite Eight, the peanut butter cup and cookies and cream. So what do you got in that one?
I'll take peanut butter cup over cookies and cream all day.
That's a tough one for me. That was like the last of the ones was between peanut butter cup and cookies and cream. I ended up going peanut butter cup. I like to try to see like how chalky I can make it because some of it's my opinion, but some of it is also like what I think is going to finish. So kind of at the end, if all four number ones make the final four, I kind of take a little pride in that. Like I have the pulse of the people. You
are the zeitgeist of bracketology right now. All right. Well, guys, be sure to check out Ryan's Twitter handle @FightingChance. Get in there and please vote against Vanilla, right? Do not let John and Pembo win this one, right? Could it be that Vanilla versus Vanilla Bean in the finals?
I think we riot if that happens, no?
I think you have to shut down your Twitter handle if that happens. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about something, other things that are relevant to the sporting world. Let's check out what's in the news. Ryan, going to start off here. Number one, let's go to Yankee land because there's some interesting stuff happening there. Obviously, in baseball, it's all about the spider tack, and it's all about this guy's using it and that guy's using it. Turns out everybody's using it. Spin rates are massively declining as baseball is happening. Garrett Cole's press conference, though, like, can we talk about that for a second? Because does your PR rep for the team not help you along, coach you for press conferences, tell you what to say when a question that you should expect, especially because everybody's criticizing your spin rate being down? How unprepared did the Yankees PR department leave Garrett Cole?
Yeah, I think what we learned about Garrett Cole is probably he's a really nice guy because he's a terrible liar. Like, and like you said, this was prepared. It wasn't like this came out of nowhere. This was an interview after a start. He knew this was coming, and you knew this was going to be question number one. And he's like, well, I don't know how to answer that. You know how to answer that. It's like if someone says, do you love me? Or will you marry me? Or did you cheat? Like, it's either no or anything else, is no. Like, if you don't give a definitive answer right off the bat, you're telling you're telling them what it is right there. So the minute he didn't just say, no, I don't use that right away, he just came across looking like a gigantic liar. So I don't, obviously he's used, I said it 2 or 3 weeks ago here on the show, everyone's cheating, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he had, like, he's clearly not someone who's comfortable lying. So I'm not sure why they put him in that situation, but he came out, Wednesday and shut down the Twins. I don't know if that's going to make it worse or better, but oh boy, yeah, you don't want, don't tell your secrets to Garrett Cole, I think is the lesson.
Yeah, just not quick on his feet, not really a vault. But I mean, for the same token, though, you also don't want, remember when the steroid scandal, like, that turned out to be like a Senate committee hearing.
Yeah.
And people got, in trouble for lying. So he's basically, like, him and Trevor Bauer have basically admitted that they used it. Everybody's using it. This is, again, my problem with baseball is that if it's not one thing, it's another, right? I mean, let's give up. Let's just give up.
You remember Michael Pineda a couple of years ago? He just had his whole neck was just
it was like pine tar, like looked like somebody took a shit on his neck.
It did. I don't know. There's never been a secret that pitchers are doctoring the balls with substances. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden. I guess because the spin rate and the analytics and all of that, and then they're absolutely dominating to the hitters right now. It's just like, seems baseball just pinballs back and forth between great pitching and great hitting. Like, they just can't seem to, like, find the lane of normalcy, I guess, for lack of a better word.
For normalcy. I can't remember who it was. Damn, who was it that turned around and said MLB doctors the baseball based on the free agent class coming up? And they said it was in 2019, like, all of a sudden it was like all of these top pitchers were all going to be in the free agent class. and the next thing you know, you had juiced baseballs. Forget about 2020, but now here you go. You've got all these amazing hitters going to be in the 2021 free agent class at the end of this season for 2022. And suddenly now we're dealing with a deadened ball. Now we're dealing with raised seams. Now, but, again, you've got enough complaints coming out. Excuse me, coming out here. I'm all choked up. I'm all sad and depressed about this whole thing here. But, I'll tell you, man, it's yet another thing that just makes you want to just choke the life out of Rob Manfred. Could very well go down as the worst commissioner of all time.
Yeah, and he's got some pretty stiff competition there too. But yeah, it's the game is just not getting. It's getting worse by the week. It seems it's just one scandal after another, and the PR is just bad. It's just I don't really get it, and they've got to do something to pull the wedgie out of their ass or the stick out of their, like, something is just get back to baseball's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something we all enjoy watching, enjoy playing, watching the players enjoy playing, and it's just sucks, I think, for lack of a better word right now.
Yeah,
to be eloquent.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. Let's switch over to football then. How about that? We got again, Samantha Previte from the Action Network is going to be joining us. We're going to talk to her about her take on Julio Jones traded to the Titans. But I'm curious as to your hot take here. Well, I mean, it's happened already, so it's not really a hot take. But give me your thoughts.
It's a good landing spot. We talked to you. This was a place that you talked about a couple weeks ago when the rumors started. Ryan Tannehill is definitely a competent quarterback to get him the ball. AJ Brown is going to take a lot of defensive attention away from him. So for Julio Jones and for the people who have him on their fantasy teams, I think this was one of the better for him. I still think. I still think he's kind of on the far side of his career. I think he'll play second fiddle to A.J. Brown. Maybe he'll get more receptions because Brown is kind of more of the deep threat guy. So maybe we'll see a little more, reception volume for him. Like Brown is usually like a 70, 75 catch guy. Jones is gonna enjoy, like he had in Atlanta. Calvin Ridley took a lot of attention away too. So it's this quality offense. It makes Ryan Tannehill a better fantasy player. I don't think it changes too much in Atlanta, but I think it's definitely pretty much a positive all the way around for him.
Yeah, I think overall, and I mean, listen, I've heard some lazy analysis over on the old fantasy football Twitter world, which is a little frustrating. People just not understanding. Just because you acquire Julio Jones doesn't mean that the team's going to throw out its offensive game plan. So, if anything, this helps Derrick Henry.
Oh my God,
it doesn't detract from Derrick Henry. It now keeps defenses honest. I think this helps A.J. Brown because, let's face it, there's no need to float safety help anywhere else but A.J. Brown when you got a tomato can like Corey Davis on the other side of the field, right? You got Adam Humphries working out of the slot. Garbage. So to me, it legitimizes the other side of the field, and defenses are going to have to scheme against it. It helps Ryan Tannehill. I think this is a lateral move for Julio Jones. Downside of his career, still going to get great targets, still going to see a lot of great plays, but to me, it's more of just a lateral move for him. On the Atlanta side, Calvin Ridley, I think he'll see an uptick in targets, but you also have to remember he's going to start drawing the number one corner on the opposition with just Russell Gage. On one side, and you've got Kyle Pitts. Okay, sure. But you can still float safety help over to covering Calvin Ridley a little bit more. So it's going to be tight for him. Uptick in targets. We're going to have to see what the quality is all about. Downside, Matt Ryan. His numbers with Julio Jones out of the lineup, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley, I think, is going to need, you talked about Russell Gage, but I think he's going to need some maturing from Zacchaeus as well to try to get some sort of other threat on the field besides he, and we'll see what Pitts is. I still think Pitts is going to be very good. There's another lazy thing is, rookie tight ends aren't very good, but I think this kid is certainly not your prototypical tight end. I just want to circle back real fast to what you said about Derrick Henry. I think he might be the biggest winner of them all. I mean, you see a lot of people say, "Oh, well, he ran for this many rushes last year and this many yards. He has to regress. He still can't handle this workload." But like you said, he's not going to see the stacked boxes. You can't now. You can't with Julio Jones and AJ Brown. You can't stack the boxes like defenses did. I think he's the biggest winner of the trade. I think he's going to have a fantastic season.
Yeah, you get some pulling guards there on a zone blocking scheme, and the next thing you know, the lanes just start opening up even more for him, which is going to be scary. It's actually going to be scary because then you got to talk about, his speed, his strength, and how he ends up going, once he gets into that next level of the defense. Because you want to be a defensive back trying to tackle Derrick Henry, who's running full speed ahead, right?
I mean, you can always see the defensive backs decide if they want to tackle him or not as he's running at them, and most of the time it's not really.
You're gonna see a lot of like, "Oops, I fell," or "Oh, I just took a bad angle," and "Oh, I couldn't do it." Right? You're gonna see somebody who's gonna be like water skiing off of his ponytail. And they're just going to hold it, and they're just going to be kicking up turf. You see all those black pellets that come out from the artificial turf. That's what you're going to end up seeing there. So last bit of news here I just wanted to touch on. COVID just ruins everything.
Sure
I'd like to officially complain about COVID ruining my chances of winning big bucks in DFS. This was it last weekend? Yeah, I guess it was last weekend. The Memorial, John Rahm up 6 strokes. And then they make him withdraw. Now, here's my question. If you know the dude's got COVID, right? Okay, fine. He tests positive. It's golf. Why can't he finish the tournament, right? And just not have anybody there. You keep the gallery away from him. You keep everybody away from him. No, he's not allowed to whisper in anybody's ear. People are in masks around. Why can't you let this dude finish the tournament?
Well, the funniest thing to me was, and like you said, but if you watch the video, the guy who tells him is like patting him on the back and talking in his ear. So it's like you're basically on top of this guy who you're taking out of the tournament because of COVID. So how concerned are you about possibly being sick? I'm sure there's rules that they've put in place about testing positive, and I'm sure they can't just have this guy walking around the golf course by himself. But I don't know, it was a terrible thing to have happen. He was clearly upset when it happened. The best, I think, was Jim Nantz trying to figure out what was going on as it was happening. He's like, they told him some news and you could see instant devastation. So Jim Nantz was very concerned about John Rahm at the moment. You're right. I mean, at this point, I think, a lot of people are vaccinated. We have a real good idea about how to deal with this. There was probably a way to not make him withdraw, but like you said, COVID's ruined an awful lot in the last year and a half, and I'm sorry for your DFS wallet as well.
I am too. I feel like it looked like somebody junk punched John Rahm when it happened, right? He's all hunched over and stuff. That's how I felt too. So I'm with you there. All right, before we get to our guest of the night, we always like to start things up with an always fantastic, we love it, tonight's Getting Buzzed Top 10. Ryan, why don't you introduce to us what it's going to be?
It's the summertime now. Memorial Day weekend passed, and what does everyone love to do in the summer is go to the movies for your summer blockbusters. So we're going to go through the top 10 all-time summer blockbusters.
All right, top 10 summer blockbusters. Here we go. Number 10. Listen, if you're a guy between the ages of 20 and 55, you could probably quote this movie word for word. Gotta love it. Came out that summer. Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Certainly, maybe not the summer blockbuster that we think of as far as the action movies and everything, but I don't know. And it's top 3 comedy for me all time.
Yeah, I got to do it. Got to love it. Absolutely. Now, coming in at number 9, this was big time summer blockbuster. I remember I was living in New York City at the time when this came out. I was working at a brewery, Heartland Brewery, in New York. And a bunch of us decided that we were going to go to the Ziegfeld Theater on July 3rd at midnight because it was being released on the 4th of July, and they were showing it at the Ziegfeld Theater. None other than Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Independence Day. That was crazy huge.
Absolutely. I think it's really when the actual summer blockbusters really started, was around then when they really got huge. And yeah, this was an awesome movie. A little long, 2.5 hours or so, but worth every minute. That speech Bill Pullman made as president, as he's getting ready to rally the troops to fly to take down the aliens, and that was pretty awesome. And Judd Hirsch and Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith, their chemistry together was awesome. So that's one of my favorites 4th of July movies ever.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 8, I mentioned it earlier. It is the greatest horror movie of all time. Makes anybody think twice about getting into the water. I remember when it came out, the movie Jaws.
There's a lot of parallels to now. It was like, do we close the beach when there's a shark there? Jaws was kind of like COVID. I saw it during lockdown. I was like, I see a lot of parallels here. But certainly, and yeah, we opened the beach anyway. But it's definitely a great movie. The sound, is iconic. Everyone knows that, even though it's released in the 70s. I think you do that noise around a 20-year-old, and they know what it is. Jaws is an all-time movie for sure.
No doubt about it. All right, number 7. Number 7 on the list here. Everybody calls it a Christmas movie, but it came out in July of 1988. Give it to me, baby. How about some Bruce Willis and Die Hard?
That, to me, is one of my favorite action movies of all time. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and all that. And what's his name? Falling off Nakatomi Tower. And Urkel's neighbor, his name is escaping me. The cop is freaking hilarious. And then the limo driver. I can't think of his name off the top of my head either.
Argyle was the limo driver.
Yes. There's so many great, minor characters on top of Bruce Willis being awesome, and every time he walks through the glass, just there's so much good stuff. And it is a Christmas movie.
Hans Gruber was the villain. Argyle was the limo driver. And what was the I'm trying to think of the name of the cop. The actor is Reginald Van Johnson. They had that whole conversation about Twinkies. Al. His name was Al.
Yeah, it was either that was his name or that's what they called each other. Because I know they had fake names. They were
called him Roy Rogers. Yeah,
Roy Rogers. Yes, yeah. But right, Al was his name. He was great. But it's a Christmas movie, by the way, to end that argument.
All right, coming in at number 6. Hello, McFly. Anybody home?
Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox turned 60 the other day. Did you see that on Twitter? Yeah. I know, that made me feel old.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for depressing me during summer blockbuster time here, Ryan.
That's a great one, though. I just watched that recently. Definitely a fun movie.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. Let's keep the countdown rolling here. Number 5. Always my favorite. Is it a star? It is a star. Right? Ghostbusters, baby. Venkman. You had Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis as the neighbor, Sigourney Weaver, who did a great job playing a dog at one point. So.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the remake with all the women, no?
Listen, I'm all for equal rights. I'm all for feminism. But listen, I love Melissa McCarthy. I love Kristen Wiig. All right. Yeah. I love what's her face? Jones from Saturday Night Live. What's her first name? Leslie Jones.
Oh, yeah. I saw it once a long time ago. I totally just tried to say that to piss you off.
Yeah. All right. Let's just move on. Ryan, I know number 4, easily your favorite. You love taking your shirt off at the beach, pretending that you're playing beach volleyball. Please don't. Dear Lord. You showed the shag carpet that goes on over there. We don't need to see that anymore. But yeah, come on, dude. Take my breath away. Tom Cruise at his finest. Val Kilmer as Iceman. It's Top Gun.
Just still can't believe that he doesn't make it. So sad. So sad.
You just spoil it for all the youngsters.
I mean, if you haven't seen Top Gun by now, you deserve to be spoiled, right?
Did that sequel ever come out?
I don't think so. That's a good question.
They talked about that sequel coming out, and I don't remember it.
It's not coming out this summer because I do the summer blockbuster game. It's not coming out this summer either. So I don't. When would they put it out if it's not going to be over the summer?
I don't know.
Number three is there's. I guess they're too similar. We couldn't separate them. One is Batman from the 80s. The other is The Dark Knight from not that long ago, with probably my favorite acting job ever of Heath Ledger as the Joker. I remember when that came out, I was like, you can't do the Joker again because Jack Nicholson was so good as the Joker back in the 80s. And honestly, I think Heath Ledger got it.
I thought Heath Ledger was absolutely amazing. I really do. But for the same token, Cesar Romero will always be the Joker for me. He will always be the Joker. And I thought Jack Nicholson tapped more into Cesar Romero from like the old Batman TV show than anything else. The whole twisted kind of crazy man sort of thing that, the later comic books started to really develop with the Joker. Solid. I mean, listen, rock solid. I even like the movie The Joker with what's his face? Joaquin Phoenix.
That was amazing. Don't watch it if you're in a bad mood, or don't watch it if you're in a good mood, because it will ruin your good mood. But it is so well done. Yeah, I thought that movie was awesome. It was really dark, but really, really, really good.
Made me want to kill people, I'll tell you that.
Jared Leto, though, go away.
Oh yeah, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, it's terrible.
Let's go to number two. Number two. Again, we're gonna blanket the entire trilogy for the original. That's right, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Listen, I'm a total Star Wars nerd. I've got the tattoo here on my arm of my little, Grateful Dead dancing bears as Star Wars characters. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, and I saw all three of them in the movies each summer that they came out. They were outstanding.
Now, how do you feel about this latest three? Or that they grab? Because I'm a Star Wars fan, but I certainly don't have a tattoo. I think they're fine. I don't think they're the greatest movies ever made. So, as a real Star Wars fan, what do you feel about 7, 8, and 9?
The prequels?
No, the late. I don't know where they are in this series actually. No, not the one. Not Jar
these last couple with the Rise of Skywalker and all the other stuff. I enjoyed them.
With Driver and
I liked Rogue One. I thought that was good. I thought that was pretty well done. I mean, listen, you always have to take certain things with a grain of salt. When Star Wars came out, I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm seeing Star Wars and Empire and Jedi, as like a preteen, and it was the everything. It was the absolute everything. Even when I went and saw whatever the prequels were when they came out, the lights go dark. You see from in a galaxy far, far away. Like when you see that words, and then all of a sudden you hear the music and the story is going up. Immediately I felt like I was 9 again, and that was. It's such a great feeling. So I'm not one of those people that gets hypercritical about a movie or start pissing and moaning about it. I liked them all. Star Wars, the original 3, when they came out in the late 70s and early 80s, those were unbelievable. That's why it's number 2 on my list here. And go ahead, Ryan. I'll let you reveal the number 1.
Number 1 is, I heard they're making another one of these, and I can't believe it because Harrison Ford, I think, is 70. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and I don't remember what the third one is called. But the first 2, I think, were definitely the iconic ones. Indiana Jones and eating the brains and all the snakes and all. They were fantastic movies when they came out. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones is number 1.
Made me hate Nazis, I'll tell you that.
That's what you get with getting buzzed right there.
That right there. That's that hashtag analysis, movie analysis, 100%. So there you go. Top 10 summer blockbuster movies / franchises, however you want to do it. Anchorman, Independence Day, Jaws, Die Hard, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, the original, Top Gun, Batman/Dark Knight, Star Wars, the original trilogy, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Last Crusade, that's it.
That's the one. We named the dog Indiana. So there's our top 10, all right? So enjoy it. We did. If you got beef with us, you want to take it up with us, hit us up here on Twitter. He's at Fighting Chance. I'm at RotoBuzzGuy. We'll pause for a quick moment here. Barely a quick moment for you. But for us, we're going to take a few seconds here. We're going to bring in our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her from Twitter. You know her from the Action Network. She used to write for the New York Post. She is the ultimate of skiing fantasy football, hot take people out there, and the queen of TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Samantha Previte. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Getting Buzz. This is actually, I've seen you on Twitter, and, I think we've kind of talked a little bit back and forth, barely, but I'm meeting you here for the very first time. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to meet you guys too. I feel like I've seen your articles syndicated on the Post, and that was my first exposure to you. So creepily, I knew you before you knew me.
But you were with the Post also at one point,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, doing fantasy football articles.
Yes, but kind of just flying under the radar, being a nobody, and really just TikTok. Kind of Scott Fishbowl and TikTok really helped me sort of come into the fantasy football space.
Yeah. Can we talk TikTok here for a second? Because you are, without a doubt, the TikTok master. Now, the last one that I saw, I think it was probably your most recent one. I think you're too young to know the movie Mean Girls. I was incredibly impressed by it, except I do wonder if you are trying to make fetch happen.
Absolutely trying to make fetch happen and trying to just push all the cool lingo into the fantasy football space. We need more of it. Every time I say something that's a little Gen Z, which that's not even Gen Z, but people are like, what the hell is cap? I'm like, please, I don't want to be your Urban Dictionary.
Wait, what is what?
Cap.
As in bust a cap in somebody, or? No, wait a minute. All right.
If I said that's cap or no cap, what do you think that means?
No idea.
I have zero clue. I'm 50. I'm 50. I'm old.
Okay, so it basically means if you said no cap, that's no lie, no BS, or that's cap. If someone just went out there and said something egregious, a really spicy take, and you were just
I am using this in my everyday life starting tomorrow. I'm gonna go somewhere and somebody's gonna say something like no cap, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck? I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Can somebody confirm, please, that Ryan is gonna be the old guy who completely misuses this terminology now? I'm afraid of it now.
I think my favorite thing about Samantha's Twitter is the people that got pissed that don't understand anything what she's doing or saying or anything, and are just pissed that one, it's a woman, and two, they don't understand what she's saying. It cracks me up kind of. I'm sure it's terrible to deal with, but it kind of makes me laugh.
Let me ask you this one here, Sam, because listen, I've talked to Jen Piacenti about this as well, because it really. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling what kind of assholes men are in this world and in this industry. But what's worse for you on Twitter? Is it the guys who tell you that you shouldn't have an opinion on football because you're a woman? Or is it the white knights who come riding in to defend you, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they're trying to get a date?
It's just two sort of very different spheres. I think one of them I really expected. I expected to be talked down to all the time and never taken seriously. And then the other stuff kind of was a little bit surprising. I don't necessarily love the term white knight, because a lot of times I think people are just genuinely trying to learn and trying to support the in this case, females in this industry, which is so underrepresented. And I don't want to deter that behavior, obviously, because the alternative is much worse. But yeah, I mean, then if they're then using that as a vehicle to ask me on a date, then yeah, that's a step too far. And people have definitely gone too far with things. Just, you know, like I'll be like, they'll, you know, bombard my DMs, ask me for things, and then like immediately they just like flip it, and they seem to think that like me sending one DM back means like I'm so interested, and I'll totally go on that date.
I know how you feel. I get that 3-4 times a week. It's exhausting. It really
I actually
is.
send Ryan, I DM him an eggplant emoji at least once a week.
Just because I show my ball cleavage doesn't mean that I'm interested. I don't know when they're going to get that.
Can I tell you when I reached out to you, Samantha? When I reached out to you on this, and again, I'm sorry, I'm going to call you Samantha. My sister's name is Samantha, and she always went by Sam. So if I slip up, I'm okay. Sorry. I don't even like my sister either, but you know, whatever.
Wow.
Different story. But like I felt dirty and creepy actually DMing you about this to be like, what's your email? So I can communicate to you via email so I don't feel like one of those like DM people. And then you were like, oh, I'm sorry I missed this. You know what it's like with the DMs. I'm like, no, I don't. I try to stay away from it.
I mean, okay, first of all, definitely don't feel bad for you and anyone out there that's like trying to DM me for legit reasons. That's certainly not what I'm talking about in terms of like shit that I get in my DMs. This, like, obviously you're totally professional, totally fine, but yeah, there's just a lot of it. There's people, you know, like asking me for feet pictures, asking me to kick them in the male genitalia area, which is just very strange. They were like, I'll pay you $50 a kick. And I was like, that seems, most people would pay $50 to not be kicked. Like,
that's easy money right there. I mean, you forward those to me, I'll kick them in the ball.
I don't understand. You could go back and check out like is it the first week that we did Getting Buzz or the second week where I just went off on the whole concept of like dick pics. I was like,
I don't remember the first week, so it must have been the second week.
I'm like,
it's
even with my wife, I'm like, my wife is seeing me. I don't want her to see me, you know, see my genitalia. I don't want that. Like, so I don't get it. But let's bypass all of that because this could be a rabbit hole that we dive down into and just, you know, berate the entire world because they're all a bunch of morons. We'll go through some other things here. I did notice, by the way, and you people out there should understand the level of intelligence that you're dealing with. I had no idea that you went to McGill, the Harvard of the North. Are you Canadian?
I am not. So my mom is French Canadian English, and we actually went to Montreal a couple times growing up. I applied to 15 schools in high school, which is a lot. But if you know me as a person, you know that that's totally like something I would do, that I'm extremely type A, and I had them ranked in a spreadsheet with color coding and everything. And like, so obviously natural transition into fantasy football. But no, I mean, I am not Canadian, so I did pay international tuition to go there. I wanted to be a doctor, and it was a very strong like pre-med program. And I spent one semester and was like, that's not for me, clearly. I hated the people that I was in that program with. They were so cutthroat, so mean. So after I graduated, I went into politics and been working in media for the past couple of years. And yeah, it kind of just made this very odd, I want to call it a lateral to being full-time in fantasy football. So yeah, very weird, circuitous path into the industry. But whose path is like normal? Like, is there a normal path to get in here? I don't know.
So the medical school was cutthroat and mean, so you went to politics. How the hell cutthroat and mean is the medical profession? Is my question. Why?
It's different. I would say that the people that are in politics, there's a lot of like just entitlement and like people that are multi-generation people in politics or just have a lot of family money, trustafarians, whatever you want to call like these people. But in the like pre-med field, it's so cutthroat and so mean. And I think like that's one thing that I just didn't realize. Like I was in a competitive high school, I was very academic, and I thought I could handle that pressure. And turns out I definitely could not handle that pressure. I was like crying every day, sick all the time. So yeah, it was definitely not worth it. And I wouldn't change anything about my path. I'm very happy with where I am today.
Do you have siblings?
No siblings.
No siblings. All right. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. So my older brother and my younger sister, they're both doctors. And so I followed your path there. I was pre-law, and I went to Hamilton on a 6-year program, 3 at Hamilton, 3 at Columbia Law. And I got through the first semester and I was like, well, I didn't sign up for this shit. This is terrible, man. I'm not having any fun. And then turned around and majored in theater.
I love that.
The total opposite direction there.
I love that. So my parents wouldn't let me finish, like they basically made me finish my degree. They would not let me change it, unfortunately. So I graduated with a biology degree, half biology, half math. But yeah, so if I had it my way, I would have changed it to something very, very different. So, I mean, I have the bio degree, but what do you do with a bio degree if you're like not going to be a doctor?
I don't know, a botanist.
You end up on, fantasy football live streams on Thursday, June 10th.
Right. And your folks are super proud of you, right?
I think they were really confused by it. Like they still, every time I go home for like a family function or whatever, they'll be like, all right, Sam, we're listening. Tell us what you really do all day. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain that. Like talk to people online. Like, I don't know, like talk about a fake sport. But yeah, so I mean, it took them a while to really come around to even accepting it. They were really confused when I even told them like, hey, this is really serious. I got an offer and it's great. And I'm thinking about moving. And they were like, why? But I think that they're happy if I'm happy. So yes.
I lip sync lines of teenage movies and base it towards fantasy football. I mean, isn't that what you sent me to college for? I mean,
literally, like that's basically what I do, and why I even got noticed, quote unquote, by Action. Obviously, there's more to my job, but in essence, there is a lot of lip syncing and doing silly memes and dressing up, and I don't know. I'm way too old for this, but I'll take it.
I have a show on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. My parents think I'm a piece of crap. All right. So,
well, your other siblings are doctors. I kind of get it.
Right?
Yeah, see, there's no bar for me, so it kind of like just works.
Well, see, I got the typical New York Jewish family, right? It's like, got to keep up with the neighbors and the neighbors' kids and what are they doing? And it's like, oh, my son David's a doctor. My daughter Samantha is a doctor. Don't you have a third child?
On the radio about football.
No, we don't.
You have a third child.
He died in childbirth.
Where did you grow up in New York?
I grew up on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, actually. Like 106 and Lex is where I grew up.
Oh my God, I love that area. So yeah, I moved from 87th and Central Park West, so I love Uptown. And then I moved to Kips Bay from there. But I spent 2 years up there. Would love it. Would love to go back.
Where in Kips Bay?
27th and 27th and 3rd.
Ah, see, like I did the whole thing, moving all over Manhattan. The last place that my wife and I lived was 30th and Madison.
Oh, nice. Such a nice area. Is that like, do you call that like Nomad? No. Nomad? I don't know.
The Rug District.
The Rug District. There's you go one block over and it's like called something very strange. It's like Little Brazil. And I'm like, that's literally one block.
I think it was Murray Hill. I think it might have been considered Murray Hill.
Gotcha. Yeah. Murray Hill now has like a whole stigma, to be clear. Like not a stigma, but like there's all these accounts on Instagram and TikTok and stuff about like, there's literally one called like Murray Hill Sucks. And it's all about how like every finance bro moved to Murray Hill and now how it's just one big expanded frat. Like you just feel like you're in like SIGAP when you just go anywhere.
See, that was the Upper East Side when I was living in Manhattan, right? You were
That's funny. It's definitely changed.
Interesting. I moved out of New York in 2007. Is when it was. That's been how long it's been. But I'll go back to Madison Square Garden for New Year's every single time. Every time. All right, let's talk a little fantasy football here. Let's talk about the upcoming season. Obviously, Everybody's jumping into it right now, head first. Did you just spill your drink?
No, my lipstick was falling off the line.
Oh, see, I always keep my lipstick.
Fine.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking? I hear you're a boozy seltzer gal.
You said put them in a cup, and then I was unclear. It is a boozy seltzer, some hippie brand from Whole Foods that I've been drinking, but it's citrus haze flavor.
Citrus haze.
Yeah. What about you guys? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Budweiser.
Look at him. You're drinking Budweiser? You're not drinking Budweiser.
I'm not drinking
Heavy?
Budweiser.
I like Budweiser, but I'm actually doing a vodka Red Bull right now.
Oh.
I have not had a vodka Red Bull since I was 21, so I'm impressed.
I'm sorry, Howard.
Please. Dude, what was it? It was like 3 years ago at FSGA. It was the very first time I had a White Claw.
I remember that.
And everyone made fun of me.
And what did you think?
I thought it tasted like, see, back in the day, Samantha, when I was growing up, we had something called Zima. And Zima was like this like clear, carbonated, almost malt liquor type flavor-ish kind of thing. And I mean, it was like the same thing. I mean, it doesn't taste alcoholic. I didn't catch a buzz off of one.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to drink a lot of them. So.
And Samantha's here for that.
I want to know how many.
I am. I'm here for like the long
seltzers does it take to get you drunk?
Ooh, I mean, it obviously depends like what's happening, but like just on their own, if I'm not eating anything, I don't know. I'd probably start to feel it after 3, and then like drunk, maybe 6. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, had I known that, man, that would have been the game tonight. We would have challenged you there and just gone seltzer for seltzer and see what happens.
Oh man, last Sunday, I had a friend in town and they were just like, "Hey, come here for this like Pride event." And in 2 hours, I consumed like 8 vodka sodas, and it was a rough Monday morning. No food.
Next time you come on the show, this is what we're after. Right? No food.
This is why I got fat, because that way it increases my tolerance. Right?
I like that. That's smart. See, when I was in college, because I was so poor, I literally gave blood one time so I could get drunker faster. So like,
I like that.
You lose 2 pounds from giving blood, but you also get drunk really fast. So all these guys in my dorm did it with me.
You are a friend of the show after that story.
You are 100% friends of the show.
I mean, that wasn't just the only thing. We literally used to go to the sauna before we'd go out just to like be dehydrated so we would get drunker faster.
Man, all of these little like tricks. How did I not know any of these in college?
Tricks of the trade.
Not poor enough. Like I wasn't there.
Believe me, I was. I got disowned by my family for crying out loud.
Necessity breeds innovation.
That is very true. That is very true.
Writing that one down too. Jeez, man. Good job.
You better stop this, or I'm going to get replaced.
Yeah, well, no, don't stop it, and maybe we do replace you. All right, let's talk fantasy football. Let's go. Samantha Previte, I want to know 3 players right now. Are you ready? I want to know who your top fantasy sleeper is. I want to know who your top bust is. And I want to know who is going to be your favorite rookie to watch this season.
Okay. This is like very hard. I feel like I have so many for each category, but we're going to go with Darnell Mooney as my top sleeper.
Oh my God. Do you even watch football? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. God.
What the hell, Ryan?
This is why we don't let Ryan drink on the show anymore.
No, that's not true.
I was actually sad to see that he's not at a consensus ranking of wide receiver 69. It's 68. So nice adjacent, let's call it. But I 100% think he would pay off at that type of like ADP. I'm really excited about Justin Fields. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. I think it literally, if I could bet on like Andy Dalton getting replaced before the first half of the first game, like I would bet on that. I think he might start the game, but will probably be on like the shortest leash. And Justin Fields will be really great for him. And what I saw of him dealing with the Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky weird QB committee last year. I'm very, very encouraged. For bust, this pains me to say, but I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift, who I was super, super high on last season. He's from Georgia, like RBU. I'm a UGA fan. And currently at consensus ranking, RB 17 in half PPR. And there's just so many things working against him right now. So many mouths to feed in that backfield. I think, like, there's a really good chance that the Lions offense is just not good, like at all. And it's just going to be low scoring and it's not good for him. And then for rookie, we have to go with Kyle Pitts because I'm such a simp for Kyle Pitts. That has now become like part of my brand. Yes, girls can simp. Like that's totally a thing. So
wait, for old white
people,
did
you just use simp as a verb?
Simp means that she likes the guy for the older people watching the show.
Oh, I like the closed captioning.
Wait a minute. Wait. Simp, because simp is simpleton. It's a dope.
No.
It means you're a fan of something.
It's not even just a fan. It's like almost like unapologetically, like if you just like, you know, the people that are like president of the LaVisca Chanel fan club, like me, or like that's a simp. Or like guys that maybe kind of like comment on every girl's photo on Instagram or something like that. That would be a simp. So you can be a simp as a noun, and then you can also be the verb to simp for someone. So there you go. Another word that you can learn today.
That's cap.
That's not correct.
No, damn it.
Good try, man. I'm gonna go jump off my roof right now. I feel.
I'm seriously gonna kill my old self as soon as this is over. I love the DeAndre Swift. Like if I'm gonna pick one that's my favorite out of all of those. I love the DeAndre Swift bust thing. Andrew Cooper, who writes over at Fantasy Alarm, had a great article just basically breaking down the Lions and talking about the rebuild and talking about the fact that they brought in Jamal Williams and talking about the fact that there is no legit passing game and nobody likes Jared Goff and he's a placeholder there. And so if you're the Lions and DeAndre Swift is the future of your franchise, are you really going to run him into the ground in a complete losing season like that? So I love that call.
Yeah, and just like things that they've been saying about him, them calling Jamal Williams like an A-back, like things are just not really shaping up, I think, for DeAndre Swift to have the second-year breakout that I think we were hoping for. I think he had RB1 potential, like to be there in the right situation, but this is definitely not the right situation.
I love it. Ryan, any of those?
The Lions are never the right situation. And I think you hit it best when you said there's a good chance the offense won't be good. Yes. I think there's a very good chance. I like Mooney. I hope he comes through. We'll see what the Bears offense turns into this year. I was in on all your picks. I have picked DeAndre Swift in a couple best balls, kind of when I picked a wide receiver in the first round and came back around. But I'm not doing it with a ton of confidence. So I thought all 3 of your picks were right. I'm trying to think of a Gen Z phrase, but I'm failing. So I'll just say really.
I'm more of a simp for. I'm more of a. What's that?
I was just gonna say the Gen Z phrase that would be appropriate here is "you understood the assignment."
Understood the assignment.
You know what? You need to. I know you work for another site now, but I wish you could start a blog with Gen Z vocabulary. It would be fantastic.
Like, if someone goes off. Like rookie debut, gets like a 69-yard rushing touchdown, you could say they understood the assignment.
Understood the assignment. I'm gonna be hitting you up for like all sorts of advice on this, like so I could. It's crazy. My wife and I used to own a live music venue here in San Francisco, and it was a lot of EDM music and a lot of synth pop, and
I love that.
And so my wife was like hanging with all of these like 20-year-olds that she worked with. So she'd start like speaking language that I had no idea she was talking about, talking about bands and groups and stuff that I had no clue even existed. So this is my educational time for me.
I can't wait for the emails to come out to the Fantasy Alarm staff now. Howard Bender. Coop, I was really simping on that article you did. You really understood the assignments. That's
No
like,
cap.
No. Can I sign off all my emails? No cap, Howard Bender.
Please do.
But you gotta use the cap emoji, like the blue hat.
Oh.
Yeah. That's like, you say cap out loud, but if you're typing it, it's like you put the cap emoji. It'd be like cheugy to write it out.
I also wanted to. I remember you had a tweet. It was probably a couple months ago. There was like 3 things that like old people do. It was like the laughy emoji. I can't remember what the other 2
The laugh crying emoji, super cheugy.
And I did all 3 of them.
Super what?
Like, shit.
Super what?
Okay, cheugy.
Cheugy.
Yeah, cheugy. Cheugy basically is like synonymous for something that was like really cool and is no longer cool. And like maybe a little bit millennial, because it's usually Gen Z people calling like the next generation old. So yeah, it would be cheugy to use the laugh crying emoji.
All right. Well, see, I learned
using emojis too. Yeah, there's like a very precise balance between the amount of emojis you can use. No capital letters. Cheugy? Capital letters are cheugy.
How do you spell cheugy?
cheugy. Cheugy.
Got it.
See, I learned about not using the laughing emojis and the crying. That all you're supposed to do is the skull and then DED. Right?
That's a good one. The clown one is good.
One is good.
Yeah, like if someone does like a really crappy take, you can like put the clown emoji out there.
That one makes me think of Pennywise from the movie It.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, there was a remake not that long ago. You were alive for that. It was like 3-4 years ago.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is like a different language to me.
What do you mean? It is a different language.
This is the most eye-opening experience of my life right now. I gotta be honest with you. Book. It was fantastic. I feel reborn. I feel vibrant and full of life right now because I'm learning. And
I love that. We're all here to learn.
I'm learning about a generation that I have basically spent the last 10 years just crapping on for a crappy work ethic.
I feel cheugy. I don't know about you.
You smell kind of cheugy. I got to be honest with you right now. Right now.
I don't think you can smell cheugy. Maybe if you were like Coco Chanel like perfume, that's kind of cheugy. Like anything that's like kind of like just a little out of date. Gucci belts, like just like the Louis Vuitton bags, which I totally have one. Cheugy.
What's the difference between cheugy and janky?
Janky is like not have your crap together. Like janky is like, I don't know, almost like ratchet.
Oh, I know ratchet.
Similar
ratchet.
To that. More similar to that. Or like, you could say like, oh, I have this like janky AV set up in my apartment, or, janky fridge or something like that.
Like
something
cheap,
that's like not great. Yeah, like cheap.
Okay.
Not functioning well. Or you could just call yourself like, my life is so janky. Like, I don't know, I blacked out on Avenue A last night or something like that.
I think we've all blacked out on Avenue A at some point or another.
I literally stayed on 3rd and A when I was in New York a couple weeks ago for Memorial Day weekend, and it was exactly how I remember the East Village.
I crashed on a buddy's couch for a little while on 7th and B.
That's like right near Please Don't Tell, the speakeasy. That's a cool area.
If that was around 15 years ago, sure.
Okay, probably not. It's like the speakeasy that you go into. It's like a hot dog shop, and there's a phone booth in the hot dog shop, and you like ring a bell, and it opens up to like a whole speakeasy, and it's really cool. So if you ever go back to New York, you have to do that.
I'm going there tomorrow.
Yeah, right? Hello.
I'm only 100 miles away. 90 miles away.
All right, I'll tell you what. I mean, listen, I could sit here and get this education all night long. I want to play a fun game. For those of you who follow Samantha on Twitter, you've seen a million different ski photos and ski videos. I got to tell you, hats off to you on that one. I've skied a couple of times. The burn in my upper thighs is like a nightmare. And when I've fallen, It is ghastly, absolutely ghastly. So kudos to you for being such a baller skier. Tonight's
I
game
actually just
here.
learned how to ski. So I've snowboarded my whole life, but I just learned how to ski in March, which is
Ooh.
big
I've
thing. I know.
never gone ever. Never
I
tried.
think that's ludicrous to me since you live upstate. Like there's so many opportunities, Ryan.
He lives in Albany. It's like if you want to get insurance, then you can go to Ryan's neighborhood, right?
Have you? So you have skied though, Howard? Yes.
I have, yeah.
Okay, and like, I mean, I get it. Like falling scary, but did you enjoy it?
I had a pretty good time. I would not say that it was the best of times. Like I mean, skiing on the East Coast, like you go up to like Killington in Vermont, and it's all
favorite.
It's all icy though, right? So when you fall, it hurts. You go skiing out west, it's like big, thick piles of powder, and it doesn't hurt as much.
It's not always like that, to be clear. Out west, like after a storm, it's powdery, it's awesome, the best day ever. But then like the other the next 5-7 days before another storm is just kind of like the East Coast to me. So it definitely always hurts to fall, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, ice is janky.
Ice is janky. See, there you go. I'm all over it. Well, we're gonna play.
I really like this whole using it in a sentence thing. You're like definitely assimilating.
I'm trying. I'm working on it.
There should be like a Rosetta Stone for Gen Z.
SOCKS? Yes. Yes. I'm learning Spanish. It's unbelievable. The name of the game here is called Ski Down That Mountain or Hit the Lodge. So here's what you got to do. Ryan and I are going to throw, whether it's a fantasy football myth or a hot take or something like that. You get two choices, Samantha. You can either ski down that mountain and jump in and give your analysis there, or if it's a topic you want no part of, then you can hit the lodge. And if you hit the lodge, then we all just take a drink. Sound fair?
So please hit the lodge. Is what we're saying.
All right, I'm gonna get myself ready for ski down that mountain.
Oh, yeah. All right.
See, right? We come prepared here, folks. We come prepared here.
So prepared.
Oh, see, now you're just totally showing us up now. Look at that. The helmet and the goggles.
And Ryan put a scarf. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't wear that skiing, but yeah. It would get caught.
He could, but it get caught in a tree and maybe decapitate him.
Yeah, scary stuff like that happens. Like it's crazy. Like freak things happen and people like hang themselves with like things. So yeah, Ryan, if you ever go skiing, no scarf.
Give me your worst crash story.
Ooh, I've had a lot. Obviously, I've snowboarded since I was 7. I actually had a really bad crash kind of recently, and it was only maybe like 8 days into skiing, and probably bit off a little more than I could chew. And had my first like full tomahawk fall where like you fall, you tumble, you lose everything. That's called a yard sale, by the way, skiing, when you lose everything. Tomahawks when you tumble, scorpions when you tumble, but head like feet over head and
gas over tea kettle, as we say.
So yeah, really bad. I lost everything, kind of like just sat there and contemplated life choices. And I definitely had a small meniscus tear as a result and small MCL tear. Did some PT and I'm feeling lots better. I didn't take any days off skiing. But yeah, was a little worried that I was going to be wearing the no contact jersey for a little bit of time. So I was glad it was not more serious, but that one was pretty bad. Cause like when you lose all your crap, like you have to walk up the hill in ski boots on an injured knee when like the snow is like, you're like, can barely take a step and you gotta like gather your stuff, put the skis back on, and yeah, so no fun.
Doesn't sound like it. Well, glad you didn't break anything.
I haven't had anything catastrophic with like breaking anything, thank God, knock on wood. I mean, I've been with people that have. On New Year's Eve, I spent New Year's Eve in the ER, which sounds cool, but it was not cool. My friend got hit by a snowboarder and broke 6 ribs, and they thought he had like punctured a lung. So that was like a whole not fun thing. So yeah, definitely seen some bad crashes.
Not selling trying skiing to me. I've got to be honest.
Me neither.
Not really selling it. Especially, I'm gonna be 44 in a couple of months. I don't like if I did that, I wouldn't move for 6 months. So I think I'm gonna stay with my no skiing.
One sec. Did Ryan tell you that he's buying rollerblades? Because he saw me rollerblading. Monkey see, monkey do.
I haven't done it yet though. I'm going to. I have to. I can do it. Here's the thing, Howard.
Wait, are rollerblades in now? Like, are they popular now?
When I was like a late teenager, early 20s, I was like the man on them. I could zip around. I was great. So I saw her buy them. I was like, I'm gonna get rollerblades again. And like I haven't ordered them because I'm like, what if I like eat it? Like just break my ass. So I've been like, I've really hesitated. I did look like around where I live to see if I could just buy them in the store, but I don't live in like a big city, so like I have to order them online. And I
had to order them online too. So if it's any solids, but if you buy them, you need to get like the roller derby knee socks too, because that's part of the whole aesthetic.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were gonna say knee pads. I'm like, if I'm gonna go down, I'm just gonna just
knee socks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's smart, Ryan. Be too cool for knee and elbow pads. Good
Since
job.
I can't wear a scarf and it's like 90 degrees today, I'm taking the scarf off. Keeping the hat on.
He doesn't want to get decapitated during this. So here we go. Ski down the mountain or hit the lodge. One or the other here. I'll start it off here. Knowing that you're a simp for Kyle Pitts here, the latest hot take I've seen on, I think it's Fantasy Football Twitter, is that Hayden Hurst still has value because Kyle Pitts with no Julio Jones is going to be a slot receiver, not a tight end. You want to ski down that mountain, Samantha, or hit the lodge?
I'll ski down that mountain. No, I don't think that Hayden Hurst is going to have too much value. Even without Julio, this offense is super high octane. I think that there were plenty of mouths to feed in that offense before, and Kyle Pitts is a generational talent. I know we say that a lot, but I am so all in on this guy. He's just like a freak of nature. People that big shouldn't be that fast. They shouldn't have the arm span. Like everything just is coming together for him to at least be a top 6 tight end this year for fantasy football. So I am all in on him. If by value you mean like maybe in a deep league where you need a like bye week streamer, then sure, like maybe he falls into the end zone, but I don't see him being a viable like all season type guy unless Pitts gets injured.
Well, I'll drink to that, even though I'm not supposed to, but I'm doing it anyway.
I think that was hitting the lodge, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
I think we're just going to drink for everyone.
I'm just going to probably just drink for every single one of them. Why not?
All right. Here's my favorite, and I am big on this. So I'm not. I don't simp for draft position. So here we go.
Today, Junior.
Draft position matters. Do you care where you draft, or you really think it's important where you draft?
Oh, like, are you saying?
Like third.
If you're drafting 12th, you can't have a good fantasy team or something like that.
That's what I mean.
No. So I absolutely think that you can have a great draft no matter where you go because, I mean, in most people's leagues, they're just going to be like total Jerrys, which, by the way, is a ski term, which is like clowns, people that are like overconfident and do dumb stuff. Like they'll be like talk a big game and then like take Tom Brady in the second round or something like that in a non-super flex league. So like just stuff like that. And no, I 100% think you can have a great team no matter where you're drafting. Yes, like if it makes drafting easier if you're 101 because your job is done, like quaderat demonstratum. But after that, there's like a lot of opportunity for stuff to be changing. People are not going to come off the board the same way that you have them ranked. So there's always a good chance that someone falls to you. And then even then, like the draft is a big part of your season, but certainly not the whole thing. You can pick up guys like James Robinson and whatever, like guys that come off the waiver wire who will be super, super more valuable than the difference of having like the 10 spot versus the 8 spot or whatever you're going to say.
Yeah, look at the people who drafted first and second last year that went with Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. Tell me how well that went. So
exactly. So you can put a lot of emphasis on that, but that's all wiped out in week 2 when Saquon Barkley tears his ACL. So
I'm going to drink to the fact that you spoke Latin on the show.
Yeah, that was very impressive. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was impressive.
I am a math major, so I have a lot of mathy terms that come in.
But still, I mean, come on.
You spoke Latin and then said mathy terms. That was quite the...
All right, here we go. My next take here, I'll ask you this one. This one kind of intrigues me. Jalen Hurts will be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this season. You want to ski down that mountain, or do you want to hit the lodge?
I mean, okay, so I have a lot of opinions on Jalen Hurts. I 100% think he's worthy of being a top 12 guy, but top 5, there are just so many guys right now that I'm going to put in that tier that I can argue would be, like, there are at least 5 guys I think that could be in that tier. So I'm not going to say that, like, he's absolutely a top 5 guy, but he's a lock for at least, like, I think he's in that mid tier. Like, he could maybe hit top 5, but that's his upside. I don't necessarily see him surpassing guys like Kyler Murray or even like Dak Prescott or Patrick Mahomes or something like that. So I don't know. That would be a lot of draft capital to go after him at, QB5.
All right. I like it. I'll drink it.
All right. We talked about this before you came on. Julio Jones in Tennessee hurts Derrick Henry's value. Skiing down the mountain or hitting the lodge?
I guess ski down that mountain. I don't really have like too many opinions on how the addition of a wide receiver who's 32 is going to affect Tractorcito season. So ski down the mountain.
Wow, Ryan, she just like slapped you upside the head there. I mean, that was outstanding.
I agree with her completely. I mean, we talked about it earlier.
It makes no sense to tell me that Derrick Henry's carry volume is going to be affected by the fact that Julio Jones is there, right? I mean, he's like, come on. Like, how far off is he from like the combination of Corey Davis and Adam Humphries right now? Like, really? So
yeah. No, that's very fair. I'm not super, super high on him going into the season. And I pretty much have like the same outlook for like AJ Brown as I think I would have like last year. Like, he's probably not going to be like wide receiver 4, but he still has like wide receiver 1 upside. And that's kind of like where we were drafting him last year, I think. So
I see a lot of people, and I guess there's a lot of dynasty. So I'll just throw this at the two of you. I see a lot of people on Twitter is like, AJ Brown is dynasty wide receiver 1. Anybody understand that at all? Like, he's good, but top overall, even in dynasty, I don't understand where this is coming from.
I don't see that either. And I don't see that a Ryan Tannehill-led offense is going to, like, sustain both of them being, like, top-tier guys. Like, I don't necessarily see them both falling in, like, the wide receiver 1 territory. I don't know who's going to, like, hurt the most out of that, but they're probably just going to cannibalize each other in some way. So I don't see him being dynasty wide receiver 1. Is he a top 12 guy? Of course. But, yeah, there's a lot of guys in that conversation.
I'll put AJ Brown in the top 10 of wide receivers because I think Julio Jones there obviously helps because he is more talented than Corey Davis ever was, and he's more of a threat. It's like Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, Adam Humphries. That's what's the defense is looking out for, or are they focusing on AJ Brown? At least when you've got a guy like Julio Jones there, he's going to command some attention. Maybe at times they float safety help over there. And AJ Brown starts to get a little bit more one-on-one work. I think the addition of Julio helps AJ Brown, but I'm not going to bump him up into my top 3 overall in Dynasty. But I mean, yeah. I'll see how it plays out.
I agree, and like I think that the Derrick Henry stuff could play out a lot of ways because that also means like that he can't go up against as many like stacked boxes. So because they'll have to put an extra defender on Julio Jones, and that could mean even more efficiency out of Henry or something like that. So really it could go either way, and I'm not changing my outlook on Henry because of Julio Jones.
No, running lane's going to be open a little bit more wide. I mean, could you imagine that? Could you imagine having to be the cornerback who's coming off of covering Julio Jones so that you can tackle Derrick Henry, who's already in the next level of the defense? Brutal. All right, Samantha, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining us here. It's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to following you more. I look forward to you further educating me on all the stupid isms that I have no idea what they're about. I was just going to say something no cap, but I don't even know if I'm using it right, so I won't even use it.
I think you should just use it and, make it work for you.
Can you help me make the word crisp more popular?
Crisp as in to mean what?
As in, wow, have you seen how awesome the new Fantasy Alarm site looks? That shit's crisp.
Yes, okay. That's totally crispy.
Crispy. We'll go crispy. Absolutely.
Crispy AF.
Crispy AF. You can say as fuck yeah. It's okay. We're all
true.
right.
No, but it's cooler to say it like.
Oh, it's AF is better?
Yeah. Yeah.
We learned a lot today.
You have to like say out loud. Yeah.
We both definitely simp for you, and your appearance was not cheugy at all.
Not cheugy one bit.
You guys are not cheugy one bit either. You totally understood the assignment.
Unbelievable. Samantha, thank you so much. Follow Sam on Twitter. Her handle is right there, right below her name. So you don't want to forget it. And yes, all your work over at the Action Network. Promote yourself. Tell us where we can find you everywhere.
Yeah, sure. So I'm on Twitter at Samantha NFL. I'm on all the other social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok at Previte. That's Sprevite. And yeah, you can find all of my written work at actionnetwork.com. I'll be doing so much fantasy. I previously was kind of doing NFL kind of crazy news to things like Joe Buck commentating porn, like whatever. But this job is going to be 100% dedicated to fantasy. So it's really exciting. I'm super excited to be in an analyst role. And I'll be, taking on all sorts of stuff with video and podcasts and stuff. Right now, I'm working on a big project where I'm profiling all these players going into next season. So that's why I kept saying, like, the best way to start your day is to write 1,000 words on Jonathan Taylor and Joe Mixon and all these guys. So I'm super excited for all of those to come out. And yeah, that'll kind of be like your first glimpse of my real analysis here.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Folks, Samantha Previte, big rising star right now. You don't want to miss out. Don't be an idiot. Follow her. That's it. That's all I can say. Samantha, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow. That's all I have to say about it, man. I mean, listen, I knew that getting Samantha Previte on this show was going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm blown away. Not only listen, she knows her fantasy football. She knows her breakdown. She knows her shit. She's great with that. She's a very intelligent young woman. She's funny as shit as well, or funny AF is if I'm going to have to go from that point here. But listen, what were they thinking? Last call. I think that if anything, this was one of the most entertaining moments here on the show. I think we need to mic drop it here, Ryan.
Absolutely. I don't think anything we can do can top that. So let's just call it a night, call it a week, and save some of this stuff for another episode.
There it is. We don't want to be cheugy and keep the show rolling too far away, right? Did I use it right?
I think so. I don't know any better than you do. I mean, I learned as much as you. Yeah. I think she was cool AF, I think.
She what? But are you allowed to say cool? Like, is that even allowed?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'll tell you what, we're going to close out the show on that note. Big thanks, as always, to you for tuning in, to our producer, Matt Sells, and definitely to Samantha Previte for educating Ryan and myself here on the ways of Gen Z and fantasy football. That's going to do it for us here on Getting Buzzed. I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.